New York City, July 26, 1981. Special Agent Joe Pistone sits in a dimly lit parked car, his heart hammering against his ribs. The air is thick with the smell of stale tobacco and impending violence. For 6 years he has ceased to exist, replaced entirely by a jewel thief named Donnie Brasco. The stakes could not be higher. If the men he calls his brothers discover the recording device taped to his chest, execution is immediate. There will be no trial, no negotiation, and no body left to bury. He is deep inside the Bonanno crime family, and tonight, the line between agent and mobster vanishes completely. To destroy the Mafia, Pistone must dismantle its structure from the inside out, navigating 3 distinct circles of hell. First, the outer ring of associates, the grunts who earn. Second, the inner sanctum of connected guys who command respect. Finally, the untouchable core, the made men, initiates sworn in by blood and fire. He begins his journey in the first circle, frequenting dive bars in Little Italy and Brooklyn. He learns the language of the streets, a dialect of nods, shrugs, and silence. He creates a backstory so watertight that even the most paranoid wise guys cannot find a leak. He is a man who steals jewels and asks no questions. Pistone presents himself as a top earner, flashing diamonds and cash to attract attention. He knows that in this world, money is the only currency that buys trust. He targets low-level enforcers, buying them drinks, listening to their grievances, and slowly, methodically, weaving himself into the fabric of their criminal lives. Part 2. The first obstacle. The first major obstacle arrives in the form of Benjamin Lefty Ruggiero, a seasoned soldier with a sharp eye for fraud. Lefty tests Donnie constantly, demanding participation in small-time hustles and violent collections. Every interaction is a minefield, where a single wrong word or hesitant glance could trigger a fatal investigation. Lefty brings Donnie into the fold, but the scrutiny is relentless. One night, a stranger approaches Donnie in a bar, claiming to know him from a past life that doesn't exist. Pistone freezes. He must deflect the accusation with perfect aggression, knowing that Lefty is watching his reaction closely, searching for fear. Pistone explodes with feigned anger, challenging the stranger and asserting his dominance. It works. Lefty is impressed by the display of toughness, mistaking FBI training for sociopathic temper. This moment cements their bond, but it also signals a dangerous shift. Donnie is no longer just an observer. He is becoming a participant. To understand the danger, one must look at the Mafia's internal security, known as the vouch. A member puts his own life on the line for a recruit. If Donnie turns out to be a rat, Lefty Ruggiero is not just embarrassed. He is marked for death. The Code of Omerta demands blood for betrayal. This structural reality turns friendship into a suicide pact. Every meal they share, every secret Lefty divulges, tightens the noose around both their necks. Pistone records everything, capturing thousands of hours of incriminating conversations, gathering the evidence that will eventually shatter the five families' grip on New York. Pistone navigates the treacherous waters of the associate level, proving his worth as a heavy earner. But success brings a new, terrifying problem. His competency draws the attention of the higher-ups, specifically Dominic Sonny Black, Napolitano, a powerful capo. They want to promote him. He is moving deeper into the beast. The transition to the second circle begins. Sonny Black demands more than just money. He demands total loyalty and presence. Pistone is pulled away from his real family for weeks at a time, living in the shadow of the mob 24 hours a day. The psychological wall between Joe and Donnie begins to crack. Part 3. The mid-roll and escalation. The pressure mounts as the operation stretches from months into years, blurring the lines of reality. Before we descend into the violent chaos of the Florida operation and the final test of loyalty, we pause to consider the immense resources required to keep a man alive in the lion's den. Pistone enters the middle section of the map, the Florida operation. Sonny Black wants to expand his territory south, and he puts Donnie in charge of the King's Court, a nightclub setup designed to launder money and host high-stakes gambling. The heat here is intense, with local law enforcement unaware of the federal operation. The temperature in Florida is sweltering, matching the rising tension within the crew. Pistone is now managing a massive criminal enterprise while simultaneously coordinating with FBI surveillance teams who are often just yards away. He walks a razor's edge, wearing a wire in humid rooms where shirts are often optional. A technical glitch nearly ends it all. During a poolside meeting, the adhesive tape holding his wire begins to peel in the sweat and heat. He feels it loosening against his skin. He must maintain his composure, keep the conversation flowing, and casually adjust his shirt without drawing a single suspicious eye. The psychological toll hits a breaking point. He is living two lives, and the strain manifests in his temper and sleep. He starts to empathize with the men he is hunting, seeing them as fathers and friends, not just targets. This is the Stockholm Syndrome of deep cover work, a dangerous emotional compromise. Silence becomes his only refuge. He cannot speak to his wife about the things he sees, the beatings, the plans for murder, the constant paranoia. He is isolated in a crowd of killers, recording their laughter and their crimes, knowing that every tape he mails to the Bureau is a nail in their coffins. A close call occurs on a yacht party. FBI agents, unaware of the specific protocol, almost blow his cover by approaching too closely with surveillance boats. Pistone has to signal them off with subtle gestures while pouring drinks for mob bosses. The margin for error has vanished. One mistake means a watery grave. Part 4. The Climax. The narrative enters the final section, the inner sanctum. The Mafia Commission opens the books for new members. Sonny Black informs Donnie that he is to become a made man. This is the ultimate goal of the operation, but it comes with a non-negotiable prerequisite, a contract killing. Pistone is ordered to kill Bruno Indelicato, a rival mobster. The time for observation is over. The FBI faces a catastrophic ethical dilemma. They cannot allow an agent to commit murder, but refusing the order exposes Pistone immediately. The countdown begins. The ceremony is scheduled. The hit is planned. The tension in the safe house is suffocating. Pistone discusses the logistics of the hit with Sonny Black, his voice steady, his mind racing. He calculates exit strategies, signaling his handlers that the end of the line has been reached. The operation must be terminated before the trigger is pulled. On July 26, 1981, the extraction order is given. Pistone packs his bag one last time. There is no dramatic shootout, only the deafening silence of a phone call he doesn't make to Lefty or Sonny. He walks out of the life of Donnie Brasco, leaving his car keys and a world of betrayal behind. 2 days later, FBI agents visit the social club. They show Sonny Black, a picture of Pistone holding his badge. The blood drains from the capo's face. He doesn't run. He doesn't fight. He simply stares at the photo, realizing that the man he loved like a son was a ghost. The final action is not Pistone's, but the Mafia's. The realization ripples through the underworld. The map has been burned. The trust that holds the organization together is shattered instantly. Sonny Black knows his fate is sealed, yet he expresses only admiration for the job Donnie did. He was a good man, he says. Part 5. The Aftermath and Legacy. The immediate resolution is grim. Sonny Black is summoned to a meeting he knows he won't return from. His body is found a year later, hands chopped off, a symbol of the handshake that allowed the enemy inside. Lefty Ruggiero is arrested on his way to be executed, saved only by the FBI's intervention. The historical context reveals the magnitude of the operation. The evidence Pistone gathered leads to over 200 indictments and more than 100 convictions. The commission trial decimates the leadership of the five families. The Mafia in New York suffers a blow from which it never fully recovers, its code of silence permanently broken. Statistically, the operation is the most successful infiltration in law enforcement history. It ran for 6 years, generated thousands of hours of recordings, and saved countless lives by preventing mob hits. However, the cost is permanent exile. Joe Pistone lives under a false name, a $500,000 contract on his head, remaining active for decades. In the end, the story is a tragedy of duty. Pistone destroyed the evil he swore to fight, but in doing so, he betrayed the only man who truly understood his daily existence. It remains a haunting study of identity, proving that to catch a monster, one must be willing to wear its face.